Hello and welcome to Nintendo Nostalgia episode 12. We are back and we are playing with power. I'm Jacob Rush and I'm here with my co-host Ryan Black. How's everybody doing? Ryan, buddy, how's it going, my friend?
Oh, it's going great, man. It's warm outside, like ground is squishy warm, but I'm okay with the rain and everything just because it feels great. Hoodie weather. Not like that thick winter coat plus hoodie weather. It's just hoodie weather. I'm loving it.
I really like this. No, I'm kind of sad. I don't understand why it's this warm. I'm like, I said it at work today. I was like, so is winter over or something? Because like, why is it 50 degrees? Because literally just last week it was negative in the negatives. That's Indiana though. I mean, it'll be in the negatives and snowy and ice one week. Go up to 50 all week the next, and then be right back down to where it was the week before.
Just wait till Saturday, man. I hear it's going to be like your kind of weather.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty nasty weather out there with like the snow and stuff. So.
Oh, jeez. I mean, that's great and all, but the worst part is when it warms up and it rains like it's pouring down rain right now, and
yeah.
Then it just gets cold and then it freezes everything. So then you got a lot more issues on the road and people get slowed down. So
more time to listen to podcasts.
And a game. So we'll see. Hopefully. I mean, I said it. I guess technically for Indiana, February is kind of our coldest month of the year. And I said, watch, we're probably going to get hit really hard at the end of winter because it's kind of been mild so far. I wouldn't be surprised, at least. You never know. In March, I mean, Becca and I, we first started dating back in March of 2009. And I remember we were out walking on these trails down in Columbus, Indiana, and I don't even think I had a jacket on. I didn't. I had shorts and a t-shirt on. And we were walking around. But I have also, just like the year after, I believe, it was the exact same day, and the whole town and everything was covered in snow and ice. So it just depends on how Indiana's feeling when it gets to the March area. Sometimes it's a winter wonderland. Sometimes the flowers are popping up out of the ground already. So, okay, well, I think I'll scoot us along here. No guests this week, back to a regular format. Just Ryan and I here for y'all. But Ryan, man, we haven't done this in a while, but because we've had the holidays, we've been a little busy, but we've acquired a lot of games. Tell me, what have you been playing, dude? Have you been playing anything new? You've been jumping around, or are you focused on one game?
You know, I've been juggling around a few games here. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Sun, and then I've been juggling both Super Mario Maker for 3DS, and then also playing some Mario Run. So I'm getting those 3 games going, and I just switch off from one to the next, and I've been enjoying that a lot.
Okay, how are you liking Pokemon? Not Pokemon, Mario? Because I heard there was a lot of controversy about. It's not the same game as the Wii U. Like, what do you think of it? Is it bad? Is it what do you make of it?
Being a semi-completionist, I'm loving it a lot. There's like each level has 2 challenge mode things you can unlock for, like coins you can unlock for doing the challenge, and I've been working my way through that, and it's been really, really good. Like, I haven't even done any of the level making stuff. I've just been all like playing the Mario levels, and it's great. It's great. It really is.
I heard that like the levels are actually like some of the best levels that Nintendo's ever made for like in the Mario format of a 2D game.
They're really solid. Yes, like I'm loving that aspect.
That's good. I kind of feel like they shouldn't even have advertised this as a 3D Mario Maker game. Like, I don't know. It should have been just a Mario Maker Collections. I don't know. What if it would have been cooler if they took like the best levels, the 100 best levels that they thought that people made, put it actually in a game, and then make their own levels on top of that, and just don't even advertise it as the 3D Mario Maker, because that's what's making people mad, is that it's essentially, it doesn't feel like the Mario Maker game. It's because you can't share it the way you used to. But I mean, I'm glad to know that there's value in it. It's kind of the same thing with Metroid Prime Federation Force. People get mad about something and then they don't give it its fair share, and they just say, well, forget it, I'm not playing it, when there is value there if you actually try.
My feelings on the game, I think it really should have been called like Super Mario, like, I don't know, Worlds or something like that, because you're playing through like the stuff in Super Mario Maker, like the different, you got your classic Mario, your Mario Brothers 3 skin, you got your Super Mario World skin, and then the new Super Mario Brothers skin. And I feel like that should have been what it was called. And then like New Super Mario Worlds or something like that, plus Super Mario Maker, like have that little plus like in parentheses on the side or something, like an additional bonus, instead of it being the main feature, which it really is not. But that is what they chose to do. And hey, who am I to call out Nintendo on everything that seems a little off? They know what they're doing, right? At least we like to believe so.
We hope so. Okay.
Let's hope they're doing what they need to be doing for that Switch there, you know?
Oh yeah. We'll get to that. Trust me. Yes. We'll get to that. Since Christmas has come, I've gotten a lot of games, and this is kind of a good issue to have, I guess. Like my issue is I'm so busy with life right now. Okay, I have a backlog of games. Always working, got college, trying to get back into working out again. So my schedule is really shaken up. Just being a regular full-time dad and husband, life's pretty busy, but because of the games I got, I've been trying not to dive into all of them all at once. Like, okay, I got the NES Classic for Christmas, which is, there's 30 games there. My main goal with it is I'm not set out to beat every single game on the system. My set out goal is kind of funny, and a confession I have to make as, the host of Nintendo Nostalgia. I grew up playing games like Mario, the original Mario Bros. Games and things like that, but I never beat them. I never actually beat Mario Bros. 1. I never beat Mario Bros. 3. I never beat Mario Bros. 2. Zelda's my favorite Nintendo franchise right now, and I never beat the originals, and I never beat the original Metroid. Yeah, I love these franchises, and I've beaten a bunch of their later entries. So I was challenged by our artist of the show, Kyle Martin, to beat these games straight through, and do not warp zone to World 4 or find a cheat and do the warp whistle in Mario Bros. 3 to World 8. You have to play through it world for world. Now, he did say saving was okay, and I did save. Trust me, I've been saving. So I have knocked off Mario Bros. 1. I beat that. I beat that before the new year started, actually. I still beat it when I was like on Christmas break from work. I had a couple days off and everything. So beat that. And Becca and I this is fun. We've been playing Mario Brothers 3 together. So we're now at World 8, which is the toughest world. I have played a lot of World 8 as a kid because we would always just warp there, and I remember I never could get past it. But so that's what we're doing. We're in World 8 right now, and we're trying to beat it. it's funny. She's been player one the whole time, Mario, and I'm Luigi. So like Becca's not a natural gamer. I mean, she tries her hardest, but a lot of the times it's me kind of beating the worlds per se, getting us through it all. I told her, I was like, Becca, I said, this game's called Super Mario Brothers, not Super Luigi Brothers. You need to pick up the pace because I said Luigi's going to win this whole thing and beat Bowser, and that's not how it's supposed to play out. I don't know. Maybe I'll take over when we get there as her and beat him with Mario. But so yeah, I'm trying to beat those. I'm going to go back and I'm going to beat Zelda, I think, next. I'm not playing them in any particular order. I just, with Breath of the Wild getting so close, I really want to play the original one, and I'm probably going to have to look up a map. Okay, so I got the new 3DS as well for Christmas, and I've gotten Pokemon Sun, and I got Zelda Majora's Mask 3DS. Have beat Majora's Mask in the past, but just haven't played it in a while, and I'm loving the updates and the graphics for the game. So I beat the first two temples in that, got a lot of masks. I actually made really good progress. I probably spent more time with that game than anything else. And I finally put it down for a little bit and said, okay, now I'm going to jump over to Pokemon Sun. The issue with Pokemon Sun is I have not got to play it very well because I jumped back in right when we were going back to work. Things are picking back up. So I've played it here and there a little bit, but I'm not very deep into the game at all. And it's frustrating me because when I do go back to play, I'm kind of like, what was I doing? Where am I going? Like, I don't remember what's next or what I have to do next. That's what I hate about game hopping so much, is that like I can't focus because I'm not Pokemon Sun. I have all these options. Like, I don't play Pokemon Sun every time I have a free option. You know, I bought some virtual console games, so I've been playing Donkey Kong Country again, and I might hop in there and play a couple of levels. And and I got Color Splash too, and I've been playing that a little bit as well. So I've got a lot I've been playing, just like kind of like you, just here and there. And I don't like to play that way. I like to focus on one game, beat it through and through. But I just have so many games. What my biggest worry is, I mean, come on, the Switch is going to be here any time now in a couple months. And I'm afraid. Yeah, I know me, and I know as soon as that Switch gets here, everything I have is going to go on the back burner because I want to dive into the Switch completely. So I'm really trying to knock these games off my list before we get there.
You know, nobody blames you for wanting to jump into the Switch. Like, this is a unique opportunity.
Oh yeah,
to just love on Nintendo. So I think we've got games that we're sitting on that we need to be playing, and we've got more games coming with the Switch. And I think that there's no shame in just like putting all that stuff to the back burner and playing the Switch stuff. Like, I am really, really optimistic about this. I guess when this episode airs, it'll be tonight. On Thursday night, but
yeah,
like I think that we've got some great things coming. I've got a few predictions, and I just think that we have we've got a good thing sticking with Nintendo and being this awesome podcast for the good old times growing up with the Big N.
Oh yeah. And just going into the Switch is when this show is 10 years old, hopefully, you know, we'll be talking about, remember that Switch reveal? Oh yeah. This is what was happening at that time when we got the NES Classic just came out, and these are Nintendo nostalgia memories for the future. You know, and it's really an exciting time for Nintendo. This really feels like pre-E3 right now. I mean, this is the E3 we should have had, honestly, the past couple of years. So I really hope Nintendo just overloads on us with game after game after game after game. And by the way, crowd, don't forget, Ryan and I will be doing we're going to be doing a special episode that night. So we're going to be pulling a late one for you. We'll be watching the press conference. And then as soon as it's done, we're going to hop on here. We're going to record, and we're going to get maybe around a 20-minute episode put up for you about just our thoughts and reactions about everything Nintendo tells us. So we're excited about that. But this is a new year. Any comments about going into the new year, Ryan?
This year has turned out to be an exciting year, and not just like 2016 was a bit rocky for me. And so far this year, things have been looking up. Things looking positive. Like I got a birthday coupon from GameStop and ended up getting the Shovel Knight game for Wii U pre-owned. Got it really, really cheap.
Yeah.
And then I signed up for Nintendo Force and drawing, and I won the contest for December. And so like I got a free copy of Half Genie Hero, Shantae. So I was pretty ecstatic about that. Like this year's looking to be pretty good. I'm pretty optimistic this year.
Well, how lucky do you have to be? I mean, I've been a member of Nintendo Force now for about half of the year. I signed up about the summer, and I haven't won one stinking thing. And you sign up one month, and then you win the prize right away.
That's okay. You'll get next this month's. It's the free Nintendo Switch. So
if I do, that'd be awesome, because then I'll have all my Switch money and I can just blow it on a bunch of extra Switch stuff. Wow. Actually, when you text me freaking out. Because I remember seeing the Switch one, so I thought that like maybe you won the Switch. I was like, what? Oh man, that would blow me away. Seriously, that would blow me away. But let's be realistic here. I haven't won anything yet, so I'm going to play it safe, and I'm just going to keep saving money for this thing till it gets released. But 2017 has high expectations for Nintendo, because let's face it, 2016, it was just kind of a let's get us through the year kind of year. Like I said, I thought honestly the NES Classic was an idea that's awesome and actually is really great. But I think it was one of those card tricks that Nintendo has up their sleeve when like, okay, when everything else is, we don't got much to show, let's pull this out of our hat, okay? Pull this out of our sleeve and play it. And that's what they did. And honestly, the year before this year, 2015, was not a big year for games either, for holiday season. I remember going into that, Star Fox was supposed to be the game we were all waiting for, and then it got delayed. And then it came out in the first half of 2016, and then it was a disappointment to the masses, which is a shame. So 2016 and a little bit of 2015, they've really been jumping over to the Switch. And we're finally about to see what they've been jumping over with. And Ryan and I are going to do a fun thing here. We are giving full credit to the Nintendo Dads. If you don't know, that's a show that Ryan and I follow religiously. We love the Nintendo Dads, and we hope and look forward to have some of them as guests on our show, and hope to interact with their show as well. But this past week they did a 2017 prediction. They wrote these predictions down, and they said they did this the year prior too, and they compared to what they thought was going to happen, what they predicted, and how wrong they were. And some things they got right, and actually most of the predictions were wrong. So Ryan and I flat out says like, dude, we got to do this on our show. That it's just too fun. I don't care if someone else did it already. It's too fun. It's a great idea. So that's what we're going to do here. We got 4 categories. Ryan and I have decided to our 2017 predictions. The categories are going to be what for sure we think is going to happen. Like this is like no brainer, guaranteed stuff. We really think we feel good about this. Second is what might happen. So like, we got a good idea. Like we really can see it happening, but there's a chance it might not. And then we're going to have something that we absolutely Nintendo has got to do this year to improve as a company, to make sure that they don't struggle this year. And when we get into holiday season of 2017, at the end of the year, that they are really hitting all strides. And then our last topic will be our wishful thinking, something that we really, really, really hope they do, but probably not going to happen. But we hope there's a small chance they might. So I want to kick it off. And Brian, I'm going to say that my prediction for the year, what I really think is going to happen for Nintendo is I think the Switch is going to sell beyond their predictions of what they think it's going to do out the door. I think it's going to really blow up in a good way, not in a bad way. I think my prediction for 2017 is that we're going to get close to, we're going to outsell the Wii U in its first year, in its first couple years, just within 1 year. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the Switch is going to sell better than what the Wii U did within 2 to 3 years in its first year alone. That is my, for sure, I think this will happen prediction.
My for sure prediction might tread on yours a little bit, your toes a little bit there. My prediction is that the Switch is going to sell really well. In fact, Nintendo, with their 2 million or so units, are going to sell out completely. And it'll be really hard to find the system in the first quarter, at least, if not like for 2 quarters. And so it's going to be that hard item to get a hold of. I can see that happening, and that might actually hinder the huge Switch sales that you're thinking. But that's my prediction, is that the Switch is going to sell out because of the rumors of how many systems have been made and everything. I think the Switch is going to go over really well and sell out.
So I'm sketching these down here. I'm going to make, because we're going to come back to these year from now. Switch will outsell the Wii U's 2 to 3 years. Sales in 1 year. And what did you say? You said you think it's going
Switch is going to sell out in the first quarter, and stock is going to be hard to get a hold of.
So Switch in first quarter. Q1, and hard to get later through the rest of the year. Do you think it's going to be that way the whole year? Do you think they'll actually have them out more by Christmas time?
I really think that they'll have everything recovered by Christmas time, for sure.
Let's hope.
Yeah, I'm being optimistic about the Switch selling out with the limited quantities. Like, I'm not being so optimistic about them being sold out the whole year. That I'm not willing to predict. I would hate that.
Okay. Restocked by Christmas. Okay. And maybe that's a smart move. Like, I can see what you're saying coming true, as in, it's remember with the Wii did not sell bad. Clearly, it's their best-selling system they've ever had historically. I could see the Switch selling at those high numbers that the Wii did. But the difference between the Wii and the Switch is they're going to be selling the Switch in March, far from Christmas time. So they're going to be able to range exactly how many of these things that they're going to need to be cooking throughout the year.
Think about it, though. This is releasing during tax time. People are going to have money to blow. And if they have a Switch sitting right there for them to pick up, like just instant gratification, it's going to fly. And so that's kind of why I'm backing that prediction there.
It's not a bad prediction. And in a way, I hope it's right. Like, I hope Nintendo puts out a lot of systems, and I hope it's right because I think that'll help my prediction be right. But it'll happen in a weird way. It's not like the Switch will always be in stores. People are just constantly taking them. Nintendo will run out, but running out is going to be a good thing. It's not going to be like the NES Mini to where like they didn't make enough, period. Let's hope. Yeah. The difference between the NES Mini and this is I predict that they are making a lot right now, a lot more than they put out than the NES Mini, and they're going to sell out because people are buying these things like crazy. Okay. That's a lot better of a situation than the NES, where the NES was selling out, but stores were only getting like 2 per store. That's the issue. So, okay, that's prediction 1. That is what we think will happen. Okay, I'm going to let you start the next one, Ryan. what might happen. So kind of a medium, like you really feel good about this, but you could see it not happening.
I've got a really good feeling, and this is part wishful thinking, part like it's going to happen, and that is we're going to see some form of trailer or teaser or something for the new Metroid. Now, whether that's going to be a 2.5D, a Metroid Prime-esque, or even both, like I think we're going to see something there. Even if it's like the last day of the year, like December 31st, they showed some little snippet or something Metroid. Like, I think Metroid is going to show up again, especially with, Federation Force. It didn't do so well. So, but it wasn't so unpopular once people started playing it that it was something like Star Fox Catastrophe. They say that Star Fox is ruined forever. Like, it's not that kind of attitude that people have taken with it. Like, people played Federation Force. They said they enjoyed it, those that did, and gave it a chance. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that Nintendo has shelved Metroid. I think they have a third try. They had Other M, they had Federation Force. Both of those had their hang-ups, and I think that this third time's the charm, and I think we're going to see it this year.
I really hope, and I have a good feeling about that too. I think it's just time. The demand. People have been crying for this all throughout the Wii U's life, and Reggie claims that they listen. And they put out Fed Force, and they had the hint at the end. If you haven't played the game, spoiler alert! But there's a Metroid egg that you rescue, and then there's a cutscene at the very end of the game, kind of showing that someone steals the Metroid egg. They steal the baby Metroid, which sets it up for a mainline sequel to the game. So,
and this is actually the second time that they've teased Sylux being, a main character or a villain or what have you. Like, because the end of Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, if you got the secret ending, you saw Sylux's ship, and they did confirm that was Sylux's ship.
Yep.
So they keep toying at this. Hey, there's going to be a sequel that includes Sylux. There's going to be a sequel that includes Sylux, and they keep throwing that out there. It's like, hello, it's coming. I think we're going to see
originally a villain in the first place, or was he like someone there? Like, I never really felt like he was a villain because he showed up in Hunters. I felt like he was kind of like an ally more per se. It's just that he's a hunter like Samus.
He is a bounty hunter, yes. I think he's a little less human about his methods, a little less humane, if you will. A little more bloodthirsty, maybe. In that aspect, now we don't have a lot to build on, but that's kind of the vibe that I got, was not only rival, but maybe like a darker, like bounty hunter than what Samus would be. Samus would be like, has a softer side, and whereas Sylux is kind of like the cold hunter that takes the money. So this may be me projecting my feelings on everything, but
as he would have killed the baby in Metroid 2 instead of saved the baby like Samus.
Well, that begs the question though. In the end of Federation Force, he doesn't kill the baby. Like, the baby hatches.
Right, but
it points to him taking it. So
his mission there is, I don't even think he's on a mission. Samus was on a mission to destroy all Metroids in Metroid 2. That was her mission. And she didn't have the heart to kill a baby. Instead, she took it back for research. Whereas if he was on a mission, I could see him saying, I don't care if you're a baby and you just were born. I want to kill you no matter what.
I don't think he's on the Galactic Federation side as a bounty hunter. I think he's a very freelance, very edgy, like, dark character. Now, that's kind of maybe reading between the lines, but that's kind of the feeling I get.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, I hope you're right. That's a big guess there. Okay. My prediction, and this, I kind of feel like I should put this under wishful thinking, but I really could see this happening. Okay. And there's a lot of wishful thinking on my end, because everyone knows, if you listen to the show, I love the Rare universe of Banjo-Kazooie, Yooka-Laylee. Now, Donkey Kong Country was from them, and from Rare, and the people from Rare, a bunch of them have moved over to Playtonic, and they're not owned by anybody. I said this last week. I think this ties into my prediction, and as I think on tonight, when you hear this episode, this Thursday night, you're going to hear a big announcement about Yooka-Laylee coming to the Switch with Nintendo at their press conference. My prediction is Nintendo and Playtonic will announce that they are going into a partnership together, and then that they will become a mainline partner for them, just like how Rare used to be back in the day. I think Playtonic will be jumping on board, where pretty much everything from here on out after Yooka-Laylee will be exclusive to Nintendo. And why do I think this? Is because Playtonic has been very outspoken about how much they love Nintendo, that they are all Nintendo fans. They post stuff about them playing Nintendo games all the time. They have all their old games up, their old Donkey Kong merchandise. And if Nintendo's wise and smart, like, they know these guys. Like, these aren't strangers off the street. This isn't a group of guys who are trying, it's not like if Ryan and I made a video game called Yooka-Laylee and that was our spiritual successor. Like, these guys have a background. They have a resume. People say, oh, let's wait till their first game. Well, they've made a game. They've made tons of games. They made all the Donkey Kong Country. The Donkey Kong you see today was made by these guys. This is the team that did that. They did Banjo-Kazooie. They did Diddy Kong Racing. I mean, I think to get a new universe where we're not necessarily getting Banjo-Kazooie back and those beloved characters that us Nintendo fans miss so much, but we're getting the next best thing, the creators, and we're just going to have to create our own universe. But with that, we can finally probably get a sequel to Diddy Kong Racing that so many people want. We could see what they do with Donkey Kong Country now, today, many, many years in the future, with such better technology to create games with. So I know it's bold, and I know there's wishful thinking in there, but I'm just going to go on and say that this is going to happen this year. Nintendo and Playtonic will announce a partnership. Some people probably will hate me, Kyle Martin. Some people might be, oh, please let this happen. A lot of people probably think I'm crazy, but I think that there is a good shot that this happens just because of the love that Playtonic has said about Nintendo and that they want to work with Nintendo. And they know, like, their biggest fan base are Nintendo fans. They have said that. The people who backed Yooka-Laylee, the majority of them were the Nintendo fans. So I think they really want to do a good job for Nintendo. So that's my prediction. Playtonic and Nintendo will announce partnership. And that could come as soon as the Switch event, or it could come later in the year. Announce partnership. All right, I'll go ahead and lead us into the next category. Okay, Ryan?
Okay.
All right. The next category is going to be, this is something that Nintendo has got to do this year. They have to do it. Period. Okay? So I know this is a prediction that we're making of something that we really think needs to be done. Not necessarily of wishful thinking that we think that we want to do. I think they have to do this to appeal to masses. Mm-hmm. Now, I had a couple things I was juggling around in my mind, but we can only pick one. So what I'm going to say is, it's hard because I want to say two things. But we'll just go with, I'm going to change what I wrote down on the paper because I actually think this one's better. Nintendo has to have, and this is not necessarily the most important thing on my list, but I know as to everyone else out there, critics and the skeptics, Nintendo has to have a phenomenal online base with the Switch. I'm saying that like no more friend codes. It has to be easy to be able to interact with people when when people are on logging their game. Don't tell me, oh, your buddy's on. No, like I should be able to, if Ryan's playing Splatoon, like however you do it on PlayStation and Xbox, it should be as simple as that. Your eShop, the virtual console, whatever, that should be easy to get to, easy to download. Everything should be easy, as in easy as in like, people need to be able to stream. You know how like PlayStation can let you record what you're playing and you upload straight to YouTube and people do this all the time? Nintendo has to do that with the Switch.
But do you think that Nintendo's going to start charging to do their online? I mean, they've always kept it free. Do you think they're going to start charging to do those things?
No, I don't. Because I think they're playing from behind. Okay? I think they're playing from behind and they're trying to catch up to PlayStation and Xbox in this category. Maybe down the road they change it once they have built a bunch of morale back up and they can see that it's a success, which could be bad. That's a whole other topic if they do it. No, I think it will be free, but I think that they have to do it, and I think they will do it.
Maybe when they kill off the 3DS, because Switch is doing so well and it's portable and what have you, maybe that's when they'll do that.
Like charge?
Like, yeah, I think maybe like when there isn't a 3DS market anymore, when that kind of dries up. That being said, my prediction in this category is that Nintendo has to, at the end of the year, start phasing out the 3DS, start marketing the Switch as a personal home console that everyone should own. Like everyone should have their own Switch. Like even starting out, me and my wife are going to be getting a Switch individually if supplies allow, so that we each can have one and we can take one on the go. If one's out of the house, the other person still has a Switch system. Like, and I think that that's something that Nintendo's going to have to do is switch to, hey, everybody should own one. Like this is the new 3DS. Like I can't say new 3DS. There's already a new 3DS. This is the replacement for the 3DS, the successor. And I think they should start switching the marketing over to that to really push the Switch and just be unified on one system. The 3DS is doing awesome right now, and I think that we're on the tail end of that life cycle. In fact, it's gone far beyond what I ever expected it to go. And I really just see them like just curtailing and cutting off the 3DS. And I think they have to start marketing the Switch as a personal console. Yes, it's a hybrid console that you can take with you. Yes, it's something you can play at home with your family and friends. But if you have one yourself, you can take it on the go. You can play it like you would like a 3DS or something. And with that comes the battery life and an ability to expand the battery life and a new incarnation of the Switch. Like with a better battery life, you know, like they came out with the new 3DS later. That would be probably something down the road, 2018. But I think this year they have to start pushing the 3DS out the door and really pushing the Switch.
I think that's probably happening. I think from a lot of things I've heard and the way it looks to me is that they're expanding the new 3DS life one more year because it's kind of a test the grounds kind of year. See how the Switch does. If the Switch sells gangbusters like I predict it will, then I think what your prediction right here or what has to happen will happen. And you kind of see them setting it up for that. You know, there's some games coming out in 2017, but not a ton of games coming out in 2017. So yeah, that's the process they're making. Yeah, I agree with you. If the Switch is selling well in the new 3DS life, and honestly, I think it's only lasted this long, Ryan, because the Wii U struggled so bad. That was what was making them money, was the new 3DS.
It did.
So you can't, and don't take away what's actually keeping you there. So, well, I'll start us off on this last subject too. The last subject is our wishful thinking. You know, I'm the king of wishful thinking. What can I say? My bold prediction for number 2 would kind of sound like I could have been this one as well, but what do I think is going to happen, but probably won't happen?
Are you caught between two different ones you're trying to decide on?
No. Sorry for the dead pause here. It's kind of hard because I want to think Nintendo will get everything right this year. You know what I'm saying? And do it all.
Yeah. Go big, man.
I kind of did with ukulele.
I don't know. I can see that being a thing. Like, even if it's like big, like them actually bringing.
I kind of feel like I should have made ukulele this one, unfortunately, because I really want that to happen.
Is there any kind of series or anything you'd like to see come back that you just think they'll never do that?
Not that they'll never do it. It's just that I think that they're just not ready for it. Like Diddy Kong Racing, I really want a sequel to that. But I can't go back on my predictions. They're locked in already. So we'll say that I think that within this year, we're going to get Legend of Zelda for release. I predict that we will get a brand new open world 3D Mario game in the realm of Mario 64 and Sunshine like that.
Safe bets, yes.
And we will get a Pokemon game, a mainline Pokemon game. The Stars will come out this year, but it's not going to be a slightly upgrade from the new 3DS. It is going to be a overhaul HD upgrade for the new Pokemon game to be like, I can't believe this is a Pokemon game that I'm playing like this. So I think, there you go. I think Stars is going to be a Pokemon game that we have only dreamt about playing. It's not going to be cartoony. I mean, it's going to look so freaking good. Like, take Pokken tournament graphics and expand on that. Make them better than that just a little bit. But that's going to be your new Pokemon game. So bold wishful thinking is those 3 games will release this year in 2017. But putting the emphasis on the Pokemon game, that it's going to be a Pokemon game that we have never seen before, but it's going to be a mainline game. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet. It's still far off that they're going to do like awesome HD graphics. Now they have said if you stripped away lines and stuff and you up-resed what you have on the 3DS, it becomes this beautiful HD thing. But you're saying beyond that, and I think that's it's a little less of a safe bet. I can see how that can be your far off, like, wishful thinking. I don't know. I'd love to see Nintendo wow me like that for sure.
I mean, I've seen the resolutions and heard about them. If you take away the lines and it looks pretty, but like, dude, like, I'm like, okay, yeah, that looks great, but it looks good. But I'm like, if the Switch is my home console and it has the capabilities of putting out top line HD graphics, give me a game like that. Don't give me this, like, what people are saying you can do with taking away the lines. In my mind, like, that's the cheap way out. If you're putting a home, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know that they could do way better than that on a home console. I mean, Pokken Tournament looks freaking awesome on the Wii U. If they could put graphics even like that, like when you get in your Pokemon battles and your Pokemon look that detailed, like that, and that's your mainline game, do it like that.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to put mine on the table. Now it's not going to happen. It is wishful thinking, and it is a bit left field. Okay, it's very left field. It's like left field and up a mountain, kind of far off. Now, whether this comes from Retro Studios or not, which I'm thinking that's their secret. This is their secret game. No, this is like, way out there. But I think, we've got a revival of an old game. We've got our old, Kid Icarus coming back. Not the best installment, but we had Kid Icarus come back. But what about those Ice Climbers? Like, my big prediction is they're going to bring back Ice Climbers. They're going to have the brother-sister dynamic where it's going to be like HD graphics and they're going to be helping each other out. They're going to be completely transformed to look less cartoony, less kiddish. They're going to be grown up. It's going to be a little edgier. And you're exploring mountains. You're delving into the caves and mountains. You're climbing mountains. If one of your brother or sister gets captured, you go out to save them. You work together. It's very emotional, very you get this really great attachment to these characters. They're going to be very story driven, and this awesome Ice Climbers game revival. And I want to see they get to these different locales by hopping on the pterodactyl or the bird or whatever they have. That's actually like a pet or something that actually flies them to the different locations and drops them off at the mountains that they're going to explore and work on and stuff. It's that's my big, huge out there prediction.
I like that. It's funny. We say all these predictions and it's I really can see that happening. We don't know what Retro Studios is working on now. People say it's a new IP, but give them the Ice Climbers is such a franchise that we've seen what they look like in 3D due to Smash Bros. It works, and they haven't been touched as an actual game of their own since the NES, since their one and only game I think that ever came out. Nintendo knows they exist. I think that would be awesome. You can go anywhere with this franchise. If you really want to make a game that is deep story game, you could do that with them. Give them villains. Give them a main bad guy and an actual story to their world. I don't know. Make a freaking awesome mountain climbing game that no one's ever thought of before. I really like that idea. Like you said, it probably won't happen because it's been how long since they've ever touched them, but yeah, I can see it.
Look how much people begged for Nintendo to for Sakurai to bring them into Smash Brothers with the new incarnation, but they just couldn't get it to work for the 3DS. Mm-hmm. They saw people wanted Ice Climbers, hey, maybe we have something here. I mean, I think it's not too awfully far off. I
agree. I 100% agree. If it's not Retro working on it, I could see Nintendo working on it themselves. Sakurai said himself he's in the middle of working on his next project for Nintendo, so he's in the middle of it right now. He could be doing the next game, for all we know. Good predictions.
And I've been a fan of Ice Climbers for quite a while now. That was my first character that I picked up in Smash Brothers Melee. They were the first ones I got good with. And I just so enjoyed I was so excited when I heard they were coming to Smash Brothers. Mm-hmm. Because the Ice Climbers series has such a nostalgic throwback for me. And actually, ironically, and completely unplanned, when Jacob came to me about what game we're going to be doing for this week's episode, when he said Ice Climbers, I'm that is perfect for my predictions. I absolutely have so much to share with Ice Climbers because I connect with them on such a deep emotional level. In fact, Ice Climbers is one of my first Nintendo games, right alongside Mario, right alongside Duck Hunt. It was Ice Climbers right alongside of him. That was my experience. I remember sitting, I'd alternate between my ColecoVision playing Mario Brothers and then switching over to playing Ice Climbers. So that's today's topic. Let's dig in.
Let's dig in. Climbers is I didn't realize it was such a big game for you, to be honest. I mean, I knew you played it. We played it. I owned it as a kid, and I have tons of memories of you coming over, and like that was a game we played together. Like we tried to get through that game together at times. When you come over like New Year's Eve parties with your family, I have distinct memories of us sitting in my parents' living room playing that game. It was a fun game. Now, like people today say, "Oh, that game is trash," and I played it a little bit on the NES Mini a couple weeks ago, and it's hard and it is difficult. I kind of don't see a point to continue to play. Like today, it doesn't give me that. It doesn't give me like I don't have motivation to like, oh yeah, let's climb another mountain. Like I don't have any motivation like that. But as a kid, I didn't care. It was a game, and it was so hard. Like as a kid, it was even more challenging than I think what it is for me today. I didn't have issues with it as a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a very arcade game. Like it is a very arcade style, like Donkey Kong. Whereas there's no real progression. You just keep climbing higher and higher, getting higher and higher points. Maybe getting extra lives, but just that's all it really was just keep getting higher and higher and higher points, and literally like climbing higher. And on these different mountains, and the difficulty level kept ramping. And it was just that arcade feel. There was no other progression to it. You didn't get any extra weapons or experience or life or anything. It was just you have what you have. And it was one of the earlier models of Nintendo games.
Right. Yeah. Little backstory for the game. The game's initial release was on January 30th, 1985. As far as I know, there's not a story to the game. There's no plot. It's literally climb the mountain of ice and don't fall down. But it was made by Nintendo. It's one of their baby franchises that they have there, and it's something they always can come back and pull out. So the game itself, I don't have much to say about, to be honest. This is a because it's not a very deep game. Let's be honest. It's like the original Mario Brother game, the arcade game where you just fought each other. Like there's no deep story in that.
Just ramping challenges.
Ramping challenges, absolutely. And the thing about this game was the characters coming back. Everyone freaked out when they didn't come to Brawl or 3DS when we used Smash. Well, like I remember when they came to Melee, and like that was so cool to me. I remember that because like you hadn't seen that was like the first time you had saw them since their first game. I mean, no, people had really kind of forgotten about the Ice Climbers at that point, and the fact that like oh wow, you're really bringing them up to. We can see these guys in 3D. What? And it was two of them. It was like, using Ice Climbers is cheating. You can't use two people against one. It was really cool, and it really tapped into people's nostalgia back at that time. And it made you want more. It makes us why we had this conversation. Like we want to see an Ice Climbers game. And by the way, I would buy that game day one, Ice Climbers, if they made a real game for it, a new game. No, just the fact of these characters, they're really kind of cute, just little cute kids.
Even their names are cute, Nana and Popo.
Right, absolutely. They're just cute little characters.
And who can not adore the polar bear with sunglasses when he's not trying to raise the level and kill you?
That could be the main villain in the future game. Who knows? This is just a franchise that is really ripe for the taking. You can really do a lot with it. It has a lot of potential. So, I mean, I guess a good way to spend this conversation here is like, where would you want to see them go with the Ice Climbers per se? You personally, if Ryan could make the next Ice Climbers game, exactly. What would you do? What do you want to see, Marlene? Do you want to see an RPG, a 2D side scroller, or a 2D scroller that goes up? Or do you want to see a 3D world with these guys? What are you looking for? Puzzle game? I don't know.
What I more envision is whether it's platformer, a 3D platformer, or what have you, but like that feeling, like exploration, the platformer feeling. I want to see it edgier. I want to see it hard, like really hard, like what you'd have to go up against. Like, people say that like the new Ninja Gaiden games are really hard or what have you, like something that's really challenging, because Ice Climbers was really challenging, and there was some precision that you had to do, especially when you get to the top of the mountain. You had to try to catch that dumb bird. Like, you had to be exact on your jump or you fall into the pit and die. Like, I want to see that challenge level to it. I want it to be an edgier, harder Nintendo game. And it seems silly. Like, they don't look like it from Smash Brothers. They look all cutesy and kitty, but I would love to see them do something edgier. And it'd be like something besides Metroid, which is really edgy. Like something that could be kind of even dark, because it is that lonely feeling, climbing mountains, the oxygen's getting thinner, it gets darker as you go higher up, and things like that. Like, it becomes night, you'll have more things to worry about with the cold. Like, there's some really elements that could really draw from this hardcore gamer feel.
I think you're onto something. I really could see a deep story put in here. And I mean, if you know me, our listeners should know by now that I love story to games. I love story. That's my favorite part of games. I don't like games that don't have a story really well. I mean, I can play them, but they don't keep my mind. Like, I've beaten Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Country 2, and even though they're not the most serious stories ever, but they have a story, so they always stay in my mind. And that story, I love to entertain in my head. Where can they go next? How did things happen? Things that have not been explained yet. Could there be a side game to that? So, like, I mean, they could easily do something where, like, these mountain creatures live in the mountains and they attack their village at the bottom of the mountain, and the ice climbers have to go up the mountain to save what was stolen from that person or that village leader or that item, to stop them.
That's kind of my imaginings as a kid. Like, this really hits home on a nostalgic level, because I remember playing this with my dad, like playing Ice Climbers with my dad. That was a big thing. Like, we'd switch between like our ColecoVision playing Mario Brothers and Buck Rogers playing to Zoom, and like switching over to Ice Climbers and playing together. And like, that was just like a bonding thing. Like, we both sitting on the floor in front of the big tube TV, and you're just playing, just taking turns. And
that's cool.
And I really like that. And I want to take this and break it down. Like, what would it be like in a new game? Like, you have the elements, like the wind blowing, or like slippery slope, but then, like, depending on where the blocks were lined, that was the way that you slid. So it's kind of that thing, like wind was pushing you along. And then, like, you break new areas, but then the furry, abominable snowman people come in and use their icicles and fill in those gaps, like those areas. And they were helpful, sometimes hurtful, because you kept trying to climb higher and higher, and they kept sealing it up, and like those elements I'd love to see come back in. And of course, the platformer it's all about platforming, is what it really is. Like, jumping up on platforms as they float by like clouds, but you had to punch holes in, and you had to jump through it before someone else seals it up, like the enemies seal it up, and then the bear making things rise. Maybe the bear in this new incarnation, it does this earthquake thing, and it causes the lower levels to just like cave in, and so you had to keep climbing and stuff, like to deal with the bears or something like that. Like, there's a bunch of things they can do with that.
Well, I think if they rejuvenate the Ice Climbers and make personally, I think any game could be a open 3D world platform. Not like necessarily open world, like the definition of open world, like what Zelda's going to be like, but just a 3D platform. Like, for example, we've never seen Kirby in a 3D platformer game, like Banjo-Kazooie style.
Right.
I would love that. I could see it working. I could see any franchise being done like that. That's the direction I would take this game. I would take it as a 3D platformer, put story to it, And then once you reintroduce them and make it a deep story, make it a good game, a really good game, then I actually think you could start to make games that reintroduce the traditional style of Ice Climbers, to where, like, say they made this game. Well, then their next game that they make will be Ice Climbers traditional mode, where it's what you're talking about, where it's like the old game redone for today, and they actually make a competitive competition with other people, make a competition about racing up the mountain in their area with the same, just taking that game and making it for what 2017 would do for that franchise.
And I also could see, like, there's bonus levels in Ice Climbers.
Yeah.
So, like, you jump and you collect the fruit and stuff. Like, what if, like, there was a mechanic where you had to eat, like, you had to keep your strength up. And so, like, you'd, like, search different places and you'd find, like, a random eggplant or cabbage or what have you. Like,
I love it. Wow. This is great. You know what I just thought of, though?
What's that?
The two fellows that I guess we can kind of use this to close out our show here, because it's a short game. The soundtrack for the game is not even, there's like 5 tracks for this soundtrack, but what I was just thinking while we were finishing up with this last part, the two fellows that actually kind of helped our show get going, Bobby Pauls and Sean Capri. Well, I think we're kind of like advertising to be the next If We Ran Nintendo. Like, we just totally took a topic that Bobby could have had right now. So, not sorry, Bobby and Sean, because it really filled our space. But yeah, if we ran Nintendo, how would we fix the Ice Climber franchise?
But I don't know. I don't think it necessarily, is something that Nintendo has to fix. If we were in Nintendo, like, it's more like, if Nintendo really loved us, they would give us some love from this genre, or this game IP that they never touch. They have very limited IPs from the NES era that they can dig up from.
They absolutely do. Well, it's the same thing like F-Zero. F-Zero, they haven't touched in years, but it was a game that was just a racer, and then they actually made it a little bit more complicated, actually a lot more complicated with the older games.
But did they give that story, or was it just always a racing game?
I don't know. I don't think there was a big story to it.
There was a TV show, I think, that maybe had story to it.
Yeah, there was, wasn't there? Wow, I completely forgot about that. Oh my gosh. I'll have to look into that one.
We're getting off on another topic.
I know. Well, I guess since we're the new the new Bobby Paul and Sean Capri, that is all. And thank you all for listening to. No. Just kidding, Bobby. We love you, Sean. We love you. We're not stealing your show idea. If you want to take this topic and run with it, you just got a free week off there. You can post that.
We're going to be real popular with the podcasters, stealing Nintendo Dad's predictions.
I swear we didn't plan that out. I didn't plan this out. I'm not trying to steal. I love these shows. I listen to them. They're the ones who made me want to start podcasting. Wow.
We love you all, guys, and we listen to your shows religiously. So thanks for listening to us.
Hopefully they don't listen to us religiously now. At least not this episode. Cool.
Hey, you love us, you love us.
Yeah, that's true, man. Well, guys, I think that's about it. I'm excited for Switchmas. Switchmas, I got on my calendar 2 more days, man. 2 more freaking days. And we're going to know everything we want to know about the Switch for now, and then, like I said, just game after game after game, Nintendo. Please just bombard us with awesome games. I'm really hoping for some surprises that no one's expecting.
By airing day, it will be a matter of hours. When you guys are listening to this, you'll hop off on the podcast, just wait a couple hours, and you'll have your nice Switchmas waiting for you underneath the Christmas tree.
at 11 o'clock at night, depending on where you live.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a great thing. We're going to have a lot to talk about.
Yes, we will have a lot.
Maybe even some new nostalgic memories dug up.
Oh yeah. Oh man, absolutely. You're going to see all of our predictions come true this tonight when you listen to this episode. It's we're going to look like fools, or we're going to look like freaking geniuses with some of our predictions, like my platonic predictions. So
hey, revival of the Ice Climbers IP. You heard it first here.
That's right. We said it first. Ryan, you want to do our due diligence for us, buddy? Tell everyone where they can find us.
Yeah, man. Thank you for listening to us on iTunes and Facebook. iTunes and SoundCloud. Thank you for following us on Facebook. If you haven't followed us on Facebook, please join in on there. We really want you to get into the conversation and join in those nostalgic memories that we share with you guys. We want to hear yours. And please join us on Twitter at Nintendo_NOS. That's at Nintendo_NOST. Just check out our news articles. We're posting things on there all the time. Some funny pictures and some things that really throw you back. And if you do need to get a hold of us for any reason, want to talk to us about some business side of things, maybe some wanting to get on our show, or just some feedback, go to nintendonostalgiain@gmail.com.
All right. Guys, it's time to get ready for the Switch. Merry Switchmas, everybody. We'll be back that night recording, so Friday morning expect to get a smaller podcast episode, a special of us just freaking out about what we just saw, okay? We'll see y'all Friday.
Later, guys.
See ya. Bye.